Hello, chat. How's it going? Sorry we're a little bit late getting started today, and sorry the title of the stream has not been changed. If a mod is around who could do that, that would be great because our control computer got logged out of Twitch, and I do not have the password handy.
At least we're not blue screening.
Yeah. But we did manage to get the stream going despite not having the normal login. And yeah, we're happy to chat about how things are going. But most importantly, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. Halloween time was pretty.
Yeah, what'd you do? Did you do anything fun?
Yeah, I was. It was Pond's baby shower actually, so I know that people. Has he shared a picture of a little baby yet?
He has not. No. Yeah,
okay.
he said. I think he said he was going to at some point, but yeah.
So that was fun, and then there was a little bit of a Halloween shindig in the evening as well. That was pretty cool too.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great. Yeah, I just took the little ones trick or treating.
Yeah, how'd that go?
I was good. I live like there's this like, there are a lot of churches around here.
Yeah.
And the church on the corner does like this awesome like treat trail for the kids for Halloween.
Oh, that's cool.
Where they do like this crazy themed, like this year it was all Wicked themed.
Oh, that's so cool.
And
the next movie's coming out, I think.
Yeah. And it was like, but like you go through like a whole, like everybody's dressed up like to the theme, and there's rooms with games for the kids to play. And like, so it was great. My daughter got like so much candy that like
awesome.
she can't eat it all. So it was great.
Well, that's what you're going to help eat the candy, right?
Yes. We tried to talk her into like, oh, hey, you got so much candy. What if, you can trade it for a toy?
Oh, okay.
And she's like, no, that's okay. I want my candy. I'm like, okay, 2-year-old. She's too clever. She wants her candy.
Yep, fair enough.
Anyway, we do have patch notes to take a quick look at today.
Yeah,
it's not anything new, I don't think. I think we've gone through it all, so I'll go through it relatively quickly. And then once we're through that, we're kind of just here to take questions because I haven't been around to take questions in a long time.
Oh yeah,
because I was
feeling,
like,
by the way,
I'm feeling back.
Good to go?
I'm good now.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was sick for a long time, and then like my wife had a trip, so I had to watch the kids while my wife was out, and then I got back and it was like patch notes and balance, and it was like no time for questions. So I figure there's probably some saved up questions that we could run through.
Gotcha.
But let me go to the handy dandy desktop here if I can find the right button. Hey, what do you know? It worked.
Hey.
These are live now on the website. They might not show up in the news section yet, but if you go to this URL, open-beta-22-update notes, it's all there. And this is what's going to be live tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning on the Battleground of the Gods, you will have my boy Sylvanas. And Grover, yes. And the owl.
Does the owl have a name?
I don't think the owl does have a name. I think it's just,
We need a cute name for the owl.
Yeah. Really, I'm just going to accept these because I trust SMITE 2 as a website.
No one checked on how Manny feels. Manny is stoic, as always.
Yeah.
Holding down the fort.
Yeah, Manny works 24/7. He just,
he's so
even when
dedicated.
there's no stream, he's just right here. He's ready to go.
It's like the Titan Talk security guard.
Plus ones for Sylvanas, mostly focused around like
the seed interactions, the pod.
His plants.
Yeah.
So you can regrow.
Water them, you can grab them. Did Pond tell the story about how like at one point in the development he had it so like when you grab the pod it was
on his head.
On his head and as a flower. That wasn't gonna work out, but it was cute.
Yeah, it was great. So you'll get to play Sylvanas in his normal form tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the aspect of Grover's Wrath will be releasing on Friday, which basically turns him into a basic attack carry kind of person. I think it could work jungle. I think it could work in a lot of roles.
A lot of people were curious if jungle Sylvanas would work.
Very focused on basic attacking.
Yes.
It's still not mobile.
No, not at all.
But he can chase you better now because he can tether you instead of pull you.
Yeah, and you can get multiple resets of that too. And that gives you haste.
It gives you haste. So and haste if you
haste towards the target that's being tethered.
So basically it means like in SMITE, if you don't know, once you use a basic attack, you're slowed.
Yes.
And this is a really important thing for the feels of the game. But if you have haste, like on Haste and Fatalis, you are not slowed. So if you tether, you can just bonk along and chase down your foes. So it's a lot of fun. There's also some new Wandering Market Travelers. We have Dark Lord Sun Wukong, which looks great. We have Sacred Arrow Rama, which also looks really good. The Infernal Menace Prism was in our playtest today.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And Soul Piercer Achilles, which one person in our playtest today was like, I didn't know this was a skin.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we turned it into a Traveler. So if you previously owned one of the prisms, you will get this Traveler for free. It was available previously. There were prisms for it previously. But people just really like the Traveler system so well, we turned it into a Traveler.
Perfect.
Easy.
Win-win.
Quality of life improvements. We've improved the lobby lighting and had some continued improvements just to the
Definitely saw some PTS feedback saying that they were noticing it, and it's been a pretty cool change.
Yeah, I think it's looking better. And Conquest lighting, I think there's been a lot of positive feedback on as well. The rocks also have been remade to be more performant, to also look better. They got a little bit of moss on them now.
Hey, we like that.
And, we're continuing to work on this.
What's the thing? Like, moss is always on one side. Are we like geographically correct?
Probably
in
not.
Olympia?
No, we're not Red Dead Redemption.
I think I learned that in like SpongeBob or something.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, it's like, is it moss or lichen or one? Like,
is there? Oh no.
There's like all these different things that they, I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
One day, someone will need to learn the survival tips from our moss.
But yeah, this should improve. The rocks were surprisingly one of the least performant parts of the Conquest map.
That's not what a lot of people think about, but it's a thing.
So hopefully this improves performance a little bit, just as part of a number of things that we continue to do in the background that we don't necessarily write them all down. Yep. So hopefully this continues to improve that. And there's audio improvements for Thanatos' basic attacks. Didn't put it here, but there's also some animation improvements for Osiris' basic attacks.
Sweet, cool.
To help those read a little bit better. And continued audio improvements to Day-Night Cycle and Conquest. Now when it's daytime, a little bird chirps.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's kind of adorable. Generally speaking, there will be a new series of quests for Pantheons.
Pantheon quests. Those are cool.
So these will be available not for very long, I don't think. So if you want to get these, act now. Basically play 3 games as a god from every Pantheon to get a badge for that Pantheon.
Nice. Simple and easy.
Pretty easy. We've added ward timers that will now show a timer on your minimap to show how long you'll remain active before they expire.
That's helpful.
And we've added a add item stacks button to Jungler Practice.
There's so many people that are like, this, you know what, this could be the patch, and everyone would be like completely happy with that.
Yep.
Okay, not everyone, obviously, but people are very stoked for this, so shout outs to Matt Zineski.
And then there's an absolute ton of balance in here. Any highlights we should talk about? Because we went through it all on Friday. Like anything that's like, I'm excited about this.
I know there's going to be a lot of Afro lovers that are happy to see the name on there at all with a buff tag next to it and not a nerf.
Yeah, so she's getting a little bit more healing, a little bit more heal scaling, and more damage on her back off. So that should be good. Amaterasu also is going to trigger her passive now off of her ult hits.
Yeah, that's
which is kind of cool. So potentially you could like debuff an entire team if you if you get your ult right.
Yeah.
And Chuck is in his non-aspect form,
because that's important.
Yeah, because the aspect form is stupid good.
Still probably really the more prevalent one.
Yeah, it's just the massive field of damage and
People
annoyance.
Slept on that for a while when it first came
out. Basically, it'll be healing a little bit as a result of the new overflow passive, and the rain dance just grants stacks of this as part of it. The slow on ESET going down. Too good.
Yeah, we still need to keep an eye on ESET. I know that there's some talks about ESET's aspect as well, just being pretty good in a supportive kind of role. So we're going to continuously keeping a look. I think she's definitely on the more balanced side than some of the other things that are out there that we've had to address a little bit more quickly. But it's something that we definitely want to keep an eye on, because I think ESET's surprisingly not actually that simple of a mage. Like even in Smite 1, she doesn't have the obvious like escapability or mobility. Sure, her 1 is kind of better than ever, but it's more of just a movement speed stim than a get out of jail free card. And that's something that people really are realizing again in Smite 2.
Yeah, I've been hearing she's potentially still better as a support with the aspect and whatnot than she is, base kit. Like that might be the stronger version. Sure. Hecate, now her 2 no longer is eaten up with toggles.
This is for the aspect specifically, which if it wasn't annoying people before, with all of its changes, hopefully it's better. But now, like if you're Uller or you're Shablanke, you won't feel the wrath of that constantly pinging at you, which funnily enough was how non-aspect was working. So this was actually an easy fix, something that just like slipped through the cracks.
Awesome. Ilphasian is upset that we have nerfed Mulan.
Oh no!
But it's just the slightest of nerfs.
So I'm gonna say it. I'm pretty sure I wrote the fact that Mulan needed the nerf on there, and then I was away on PTO, and this is the one we got in. I think she could use more nerfs. I'm just gonna put it out there. She's been doing very good. She's
quite good.
She's like top 5 performance. We'll see how this goes off and everything else, and I'm sure I won't get yelled at, but no, this is okay for now, and then we'll see where she lies.
Mercury, slight nerf to his basic attack damage for traveling, and decreasing the maximum bonus speed on his ult.
As we continue to get the Mercury fixes in, he just continues to do better and better.
Yeah.
So we need to offset the quality of life bug fixes with nerfs.
That makes sense. Nuwa buff maybe shocks a lot of people. But trying to play more into the combo since we took a lot of the power off of the ult, right?
And so this was interesting because a lot of people kind of asked for this to happen at the same time. That being said, when we did the Nuwa nerfs, she was, I think, top 2
she was
across
insane.
the board.
The ult was just
It was
dumb.
necessary. Yeah. So in a way, we kind of wanted to make sure that we did the nerfs first and didn't just do a shift because we didn't know where the fallout was going to be. And that being said, now we're at that stage and we can see where we're at, and now she's getting the buff she deserves.
And getting the nerf he deserves is Osiris in his aspect form. Just the base mitigations he was getting from his passive, giving him a lot of free tankiness. And the one, especially really early game, you could just 1-1 kill anybody.
It's definitely a lot. Honestly,
it was a lot.
There might need to be some nerfs that are added to this down the road, but we wanted to make sure that we kind of give it some time to breathe and see where and what way we want to nerf it. So this is the protection side of things. If we need to nerf the speed or some more damage or anything, or even play off this more, we absolutely can. But once things start petering down in terms of how strong they are, we saw this with the Cabrakan aspect as well. We're still seeing some people say Cabrakan aspect is too strong because they didn't even realize the perception of the hotfix nerfs, because those go in sometimes and you don't even see them from the patch notes. And people actually, he's not that crazy anymore. He's actually kind of completely fine. But the perception of not being on the patch notes can make a really big deal. So sometimes if we just nerf things too hard, we can never get the community goodwill of then just buffing them back in. We have to be okay, you know what? Has it been enough time for us to be able to buff them again?
Yeah.
No, because people are not going to realize that actually they're in a much nerfed state. So it's easier to do that one at a time.
Yeah, the first impression is always hard to counteract. Kind of one of the funny things, you remember when we released Cabrakan in SMITE 1 the first time, and he was super underpowered.
Right.
And it took forever for people to realize he was good because we had to buff him and buff him and buff him, and then we just he got so good that we just kind of had to sit on it for a while. And then it took months before people were why is this god not nerfed? He's so good. And we were
totally.
Yeah, it happens. So awesome. Sobek, he's going to be getting in there a little bit better. He's got some more protections per stack and increased protections per stack per level. So more protections from his passive.
Yeah.
Scylla aspect, trying to move it a little bit of the power away from the ult, I guess is the best way to say it. If you're not building power,
exactly.
if you're playing it in support, it shouldn't do quite as much damage. I think is the main thing.
This is also one of the ones where we're seeing a little bit of high level disparity between everyone else. Scylla aspect is one that I think there's a lot of people that still go who picks it up? Turns out actually Scylla's support aspect, which to be fair is not something that we kind of expected going into it, but it's one of those kind of emergent gameplay moments of cool, if that's what people are doing, that's awesome to see. But that being said, we have to nerf it for the people who know how to use it super well and make sure that it's still good for everyone else if possible. And
Thor base kit, a little bit underpowered, a little bit more scaling for both his 2 and his 3. Tsukiyomi getting a buff. It's been nerfs for so long, but he's finally getting a buff.
Yeah,
but this is just for the aspect.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, the aspect, I think is another one that released and people were dear Lord, this is terrifying. I can't even remember if we did some Quake hotfix nerfs or not, but it's actually been statistically quite underpowered for quite a while. Unlike
Shibalanke, who continues to be good despite many nerfs.
Yeah, I would say that these should be pretty important ones now that I think he's going to be petering off to a state where people probably will stop talking about him a little bit more. Yeah. So hopefully people feel these nerfs.
A few more things. We have some item balance here. Chandra's Grace will be nerfed. This, I think because it hits yourself, was just doing a lot. And so we've changed it to be more impactful, but shorter. I guess is the best way to say it.
Yep.
So you aren't going to get as much cooldown reduction, I think.
That's the main difference. The health and mana regen will be technically exactly the same.
Daybreak Gavel, nobody's buying it, so we buffed it, and maybe we'll see if you buy it, and if it's actually any good. Dagger of Frenzy is getting a buff. The on-use attack damage per level is going from 3 to 4.
Yeah, I think this one interested a lot of people because there was some notes on, hey, why Dagger Frenzy? People pick this up a lot. I think this was the one that was kind of middling on popularity, but actually just performing really poorly. We've seen that many times before. That's why this is not a massive change. It's just a small buff.
I have Erebus is slightly more health and slightly longer watchful eye duration, just so you can kind of guard objectives better.
Yeah, it's one of the. I think we nerfed it preemptively in PTS because a lot of people were terrified of the idea of it, but it's not nearly what people thought it was, and I think this just puts it in a little bit of a healthier spot. It's a bit of a niche item. It's not meant to be something. You're not meant to throw it into the middle of a team fight and just do instant damage to people. That's not the goal. But having to kind of prep this up and kind of use it in unique ways makes it a little bit harder to use.
Leviathan's Hide now also reduces reduces attack damage power as well as strength.
Yeah.
So it should do its job better. Screeching Gargoyle increased cooldown rate from 10 to 15. Shield Splitter now goes further.
There we go. Okay. I actually missed this one. Nice.
Yeah, I believe this is parity with Lifebinder range.
Oh, gotcha.
And it was just, I don't know exactly the full reason behind it, but seemed like it made sense, I guess. And then Stone of Binding getting kind of a bigger shift here.
In every way.
You think it's just better in every way? Okay.
Kind of.
Okay. So basically, fewer stacks, but they will reduce your protections more. We've removed the item protection threshold for 2 stacks, and we've increased the stack duration, and they fall off one at a time.
It's just a more viable, ending game item. Because before it has the price point of being kind of cheaper, but then you had that item threshold. Now it just makes sense as a perm item.
I built it today before throwing. And then we had the execution buff. Just getting a little bit cheaper.
Just a little bit of love.
And that's what's coming your way tomorrow on the Battleground of the Gods. If I push this button, it'll go back to just us.
It's us.
And now we can answer some questions from chat. What's on your mind today, chat? What do you want to talk about ahead of Sylvanas' big day tomorrow?
Oh, Sylvanas' big day. That sounds like a really fun movie to watch.
It does. It sounds like a kid's book.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's absolutely a name of a movie or a book that's I can't remember what.
Let me tell you, I've found some absolute banger little kids books because I read so many little kids books now to my kids. I would highly recommend Llama Llama Red Pajama.
It's got a rhyme. It's
It's so good. Very good rhyme scheme to it. Also, Room on the Broom, seasonal. Okay. It's about a witch on a broom for Halloween.
Perfect.
It's very good rhyme schemes. Who is my favorite dev? I can't say that.
Dad can't play favorites.
Yeah, that's not. Let's see.
Bill for bringing us food.
Bill for bringing us food is probably the answer. Can we add global emote audio to the menus? I thought we had that. We might only have
global emote specifically. Ooh. No.
Yeah, because I think we have audio for
quips,
but not global emotes.
I've never heard that as a problem for myself, but I mean, I can understand that might be the case. Who's
my most unfavorite dev? I mean, Manny's really got to step it up. He never says anything on these shows, but who decides the +1s for a god? The person who makes the god, or does everybody pitch in on an idea and then you pick the best one?
A little bit of both, to be honest. Usually there's a point designer on the porting of gods, and whoever is going to be working on them, sometimes we'll always try and kind of reach out to the ambassadors to see if they have any ideas. Everyone in the dev team is going to know who's being worked on next, and there's a Slack channel created dedicated to that, and everyone's can feel free to pitch into ideas. The design team obviously will be thinking about it a little bit more, but as a whole, it's going to be that point designer who probably kind of comprises all that feedback, looks at social media if necessary, and just kind of comes up with something fun to do. Then there'll obviously be a back and forth as an iteration period because nothing is ever really one shot.
This is worded in an accusatory way, but I think it gives us an opportunity to talk about something that may be interesting.
Okay.
Who exactly was the one who recommended the new dodge yield? I have seen some discourse, where some people are.
I don't eat my candy.
You go for it. Where some people are less excited. Ooh, that's cool.
It's in the break room.
Have you been to Buford Farmers Market? Mm-mm. Oh, dude, they've got all of every foreign country candy that you could possibly want. Buford Farmers Market.
Buford, sure.
Yeah,
I've not been there.
It's just this huge grocery store that has just every international food that you could think of.
Oh, heck
and also just the biggest fresh fish section you'll ever see. It's awesome. And they have any fruit or vegetable you could want.
Nice.
If you want durian, they don't just have one durian. They got 20 durian.
Damn.
It's insane.
Okay.
Anyway, Dodgy. So when we first said, "Hey, guy," to the ambassadors. Mm-hmm. One of the first things we do when we're starting up on a new god is we make a new channel.
Yep.
And we're like, "Hey guys, this is one of the next gods that's coming up. We can confirm them. What are your thoughts?" And the overwhelming reaction was the most like upset negative response. I have never seen a negative response to a god coming to Smite 2.
What's like the one meme that I remember was like, no, goddamn, please, no.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. It was, people were very upset that we were bringing Daji.
But it wasn't because of the character. No. It was because of the polarizing ultimate.
Yeah, and basically they were like, I don't see how this character, more than any other character that you've done, could work in the world of Smite 2 without some changes.
Exactly.
And so we talked back and forth with the ambassadors, trying to understand specifically like, hey, what are the areas that you are most concerned about? What are the things that you think, maybe are probably okay? Mm-hmm. And then we also, we'd also been having these conversations internally, but exactly. It's just good to run it off of them. And I think we really honed in on the ult. The way that it worked was not going to be workable for Smite 2.
Yeah.
And so we went back and forth on a couple different iterations.
This wasn't the first one that was definitely talked about. This was kind of iterated on behind the scenes between talking to ambassadors, but also just understanding their feedback and the negativity that could arise in Daji's gameplay in Smite 2. But also us knowing CC in Smite has been a topic that we've literally had conversations about since Smite 1.
Yeah.
From like year 2 of Smite 1 onwards. I remember writing docs about like, okay, do we want to reduce CC across the board and stuff like that? And it's something that we have to be very cognizant of, and it's something that people kind of call us out for when we port over gods in Smite 2, saying like, hey, you guys said we're going to reduce the CC across the board. We only have the one relic. There are options like Circe's Hexstone and Talisman Purification, but obviously not enough people want to use those, and they just don't find it fun to do so. Something that we need to figure out on kind of on a tangent. Mm-hmm. So Daji, we knew what we wanted to bring her in. We knew the ultimate was going to be extremely polarizing, and we wanted to make sure that Daji still feels like Daji, and that's kind of that bullet point is going to be something that a lot of Daji mains, even in Titan Talk here today, or just in general, are a little bit upset about, is because they don't have. I think the biggest feel is they can't hit one person, chain, and immediately like pull them in and stun them. That is, that gameplay is now going to be different.
Yeah.
That being said, kind of like this is a very similar conversation with Xbalanque's ultimate, right? Is we made changes, it is different. It's not going to make people who wanted the exact same thing particularly happy, but we have to do things for the health of the game sometimes, and that is going to be at the sacrifice of some people who really, really like certain things. I'm going to just make an anecdote here that probably none of you will agree with, but like there's going to be people out there whenever we do want to port Bake Gujira that will want Bake Gujira with absolutely no changes. But I think a lot of people in chat and some people on the dev teams can agree that we probably would want to do some changes down the road whenever that happens. I'm just trying to point out something far away, right? So our goal on the dev team is always to make sure that we create something that's healthy for the user base as a whole, to make sure that the game can survive going forward.
Completely.
We want to make sure that everyone feels happy as best they can be. We want to make sure that new and returning players are happy. That's always going to come at the little bit of a cost of change. That being said, we did our due diligence trying to make sure that the devs are happy, that the ambassadors are happy, that even in PTS we see a lot of people who said that Daji's ultimate is still pretty darn good. If anything, internally we've always said that it actually might be too good still. Are there going to be some naysayers? Probably. Will we try and make sure that we find some kind of compromise? We can definitely continue to do so. That's not impossible at all.
Yeah, and I think that like one of the reasons why we put Daji onto PTS was because we want feedback on things, right? And I think that like we did get some feedback on the ult on ways that we can continue to tweak and improve it.
Even from PTS, we added a cripple to it on like day one. I don't think that change got into PTS, but based on feedback, Daji's ultimate has a cripple on it.
Yeah.
For the record.
So I think that like we're open to feedback as always, but we need to do the things that are best for the game. So, Daji win rate is going to be 10%. Oh, that is a wild take. But we'll see when she comes out. What did you think of Al Leon's video? And I will add in and intersex reaction and Weekend's reaction. I feel like I've watched this video 10 times by now because everybody's reacting to it.
Yeah. I didn't expect that. Wait, you didn't ask that? Someone in chat.
Somebody in chat said that. Okay. Yeah. I don't just make up questions on this show.
No, I mean,
I do make up tangents. That is part of the show, but I don't make up questions.
My like hands like trembling. I was streaming the other day and I kind of talked about this question, but I didn't say the words in that exact order.
Yes, the question came from Sexy Magikarp. Yes.
Damn you, Magikarp.
Which I guess will become a Sexy Gyarados?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe it's like the reverse Ugly Duckling.
Maybe.
Like ugly Gyarados.
I mean, so I think that like whenever there's a big community feedback video, We watch
all watch
right?
it.
And we watch all the different reactions to it too, because a big community feedback video is almost always going to represent one person's opinion.
Sure.
That means that it is true to their experience, but it doesn't mean it's true to everyone's experience. That doesn't mean that that's not me immediately writing it off, but it means that like we need to take that seriously, because it means that a player is having a bad time with certain aspects, but it doesn't mean that we need to like knee-jerk react to everything before we fully consider the impacts of the things that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. I think that there are some things that he talked about that other people agree with and I agree with. Right.
Yeah, sure.
I think there's other things he talked about that I'm less in agreement with personally, and I've seen the community less in agreement with. So I don't know if you have more specific takes than that.
I think, I mean, I have a lot of specific takes, but I don't want this to end up just being like, hi, some content creator will then be like, Hi-Rez reacts to X video, reacts to X video, reacts. Yeah, I don't know how much I want to get into the weeds with.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bullet points in that video. There's a lot of things that, SMITE 2 is going to continue to learn from. I mean, you had the, the generic thing. I think one thing I want to hone in on, which is what you said, again, is that like, if people just watch the one video, they might have come to the conclusion of like, okay, there's a huge vocal group of people that all agree with this thing. And then if they don't actually watch the other videos and see, like, I was pleasantly surprised to see the difference in takes between the different content creators, because it's not honestly always that you see that. Usually it ends up being an echo chamber. Even content creation videos, I don't usually see them disagreeing with each other, where we'll be like, hey, this guy has a take, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to react to the take, and like I generally agree, and like these are my added bullet points.
Yeah.
But in this case, there's a lot of discourse back and forth. I think, there's a lot of things, we can't go through literally all of the bullet points, but some of them was talking about the map, some of them was talking about, bugs, some of them was talking about God ports and aspects. Generally, most of the things that were just about the game itself were things that we already knew. We already know we want to, shore up on the elixir side. We know that mana needs fixing. We know that like pen and stuff, there's a lot of gameplay stuff that needs changing.
Yeah, we know that this is not the greatest conquest map in the history of Smite, right?
Exactly.
Like, there's a lot of things that like, we agree with and we're aware of, and there's some other things that were like, and there were a few things that made us rethink things, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. I think, ones that were up a little bit more in the air that we still want to continue to talk about, but require some more of these changes kind of on these supplementary systems, where things like, how do we want to continue progressing forwards with the relic system or the active items, because they're very tied together now. How do we feel about TTK in the early, mid, and late game? And how do other people feel about it too? And also, one thing to always note about, which I'm seeing a lot of conversation online about, or maybe it's just kind of in my feeds, of just there's a desire for high-level players for us to make sure that we balance the game at a competitive standpoint. Totally understand that we have always almost done that to a fault, especially in Smite 1, saying like, hey, SPL, what are their picks and bans? Let's make sure that we hit those and address them regardless of everyone else. Like, damned if we do, damned if we don't. But we're in a Smite 2 early access phase. We need to make sure now more than ever that like returning and new players have a healthy ecosystem to play the game too. That doesn't mean we're only going to make changes for them. If anything, I would still say, being part of one of the designers that helps on the balance side, that we still cater towards the high level competitive players almost more than we should in some of our balance suggestions and some of our implementations. But we need to make sure that if we want matchmaking to get better, if we want this game to thrive and Smite 2 to continue over the next 10 years, we need to make sure that we create a game for everyone as best we can. But that's never going to be possible. We're never going to make everyone happy.
Yep.
But we can only do as best we can.
These are kind of two related ones. I'll take this one. Can you onboard new ambassadors? They've been the same for 3 years minimum, and please don't neglect the casual players. So I think that we have been talking and working through kind of our ambassadors program. I think that we agree that there is room to bring on a new wave of ambassadors, and maybe some people that have been in the channel but not doing anything for a long time. Maybe it's time for them to
be wary,
fall out of the program, right? And it's nothing against them. It's just like, hey, we want people that are active and engaged, right? And we want people that are active and engaged and representing a wide swath of the community's opinions, right? This is one of the reasons why, like, if you're new to Smite, you probably don't know we used to have a program called the Olympians, where we had a community elected board that met regularly, and there were specific seats that was like, this is the PlayStation representative seat. This is the Xbox representative seat. This is the non-conquest game mode representative seat, right? And we still want to hear from those people and get feedback from them as well. Even if most of the feedback that we get does tend to be on the more competitive side, just because of the nature of the game, right? So we definitely want people who care and want to communicate on all aspects of the game. Sometimes we do have to decide whether we're going to make a change that's better for one group of people or another group of people. And not every, we can't always do something for everybody as much as we would like to. But we definitely do want to hear from the perspectives of everybody.
Yeah, and one of the bullet points out there that was said is like, why do the ambassadors get more of a say? It's not necessarily that they get more of a say, but they're meant to be an interface, kind of like the Olympians.
It's like a sounding board.
They're literally ambassadors, and one of the main reasons why we want to make sure we get a good proliferation of different communities is because they're meant to be ambassadors for those communities as well. Yeah. Whether they're content creators, whether they're just a casual Andy, we want to make sure that we see the different slices of the pie, and they're just one way. There needs to be a certain amount of people. We can't just talk to everyone all the time. That's what these Titan Talks are there for, right? That's what social media is for. We are still utilizing all of these different avenues, but that is just another specific avenue.
Yeah, and it's like very frequently it's like we want to talk about something that's far enough out or in flux enough that like we want to just sounding board with the community, like some features. But if we just are like, hey, let's throw this out for the entire community, it becomes overwhelming at that point.
And of course, this is an NDA program.
Yeah,
It has to be something that we can feel a relationship with them as well.
Ads. I could not turn the ads off because I could not log in today. So if people have ads, I'm sorry.
Do we hit into ads? Do
we just chill? We might have a little bit of an ad break. I didn't turn ads off. Yes, this is my fault because I'm going to blame Hindu Man because I think he logged out of the.
Can't log out. That's not allowed.
I know, and because he logged out,
do the classic like we need a sticky note of the password.
Yeah, I have it in a doc, but I didn't realize that it wasn't logged in until like too late.
I told Hindu Man that if he gives me the info, the next time that you two are both sick at the same time, I'm just going to take control of Manny.
Yeah. Let's see. There was a.
I'm going to assume that there's enough people that are not in ads.
Yeah, we can just kind of kill a minute or two, but I am picking a question for when we pick it back up.
Okay.
So
you just keeping it stored?
Just think about it. Okay. I'm going to say the question now.
Oh, okay.
The question is, what do you think about the Reddit post saying that the map should have a river?
Am I allowed to answer yet? Are we back from ads?
They say 2 more minutes.
2 minutes?
Oh, brutal.
Bro. Like 2 more minutes?
2 more minutes. That's a lot of minutes.
We better be like...
Dude, Peacock recently has been pissing me off.
Peacock,
the streaming service, Peacock.
Oh, sure, yeah. My brain literally thought Hi-Rez Peacock. I don't know why. Okay, that makes no sense.
Because they will now pause a movie in the middle of the movie to run ads.
Oh.
And I pay for the streaming service. I don't pay for like the high-end version of it.
That's why you have to pay for like 1 out of 10 different versions.
Pausing in the middle of a movie for more ads, that's just wild.
Yep.
Absolutely wild.
I am so back.
Are we back? Is everybody back?
I think everyone's hitting 2 different things. You can't say 2-minute ads and then like 1 minute later say 2-minute ads.
I know.
Unless you refresh and then that's on you. Oh, yeah, you saw the Yellow Shell video.
I actually didn't.
You didn't? It was actually very
I think it might have come out when I was sick.
Oh, yeah,
it did.
It was like a week and a bit ago.
Okay, I'll go back and check it out.
It was worth it. I think people like the Planet Smite part better. You'll see it's in 3 parts, which is what's great.
Oh, jeez.
But I like the ending part better.
All right, I'll check it out.
I mean, it was all good. It was very funny.
I feel like we're probably back enough.
Yeah, we're probably back.
So River.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this on stream before, and I've talked about this on Titan Talk before. I've come. So many of us devs have come from different games and different MOBAs. I've played League of Legends. I've played Dota. I've played so many of the other ones, and they mostly have rivers in it. What do rivers accomplish? A whole bunch of different things. I'm not going to go into like the design idea of rivers, but one, graphically, visually, a river is a very cool aesthetic appearance. Not saying that would be a bad thing. And 2, one of the biggest things that it would do for Smite, if we wanted to add it, so this is a positive and negative, this is a talking point for the community really to think about, is it creates a divide between the 2 teams, meaning it's actually harder to kind of go onto one side of the jungle, which generally results in harder invade opportunities or more committal invade opportunities. Now, that being said, we've basically never had that in Smite. I don't know how our players would react to being able to be like, hey, it is harder for me to get to you and harder for you to get to me. That may be a good thing. That may not be a good thing. I think that's actually pretty cool. It's also just different. I wonder if we were to do something like that, how we would do it. But as I think even the Reddit thread said, because we've talked about this idea before, the problem is now you're in third person, and we need to probably create dividers to make sure that you can't just see through line of sight or fog or some sort of way to play around that.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I think is worth thinking about, at least the things we've talked about, is like if there was a river in the middle of the map, would you offset Fire Giant and Gold Fury? Would it be coming?
Right.
Would it need to become slightly asymmetrical? Right, because pretty much every other game with a river does that to some extent.
Yep, sure.
I guess new Dota map just has their guy in the middle of the river.
Yeah, it just creates like kind of like a little widened area.
Yeah,
you could do that as well.
So you could do something like that.
Our kind of jungle pits and boss pits tend to be quite a lot larger than those in the other games.
Yeah. Just generally, I'm going to take this
Fire giants in a river. Theoretically, it doesn't have to be a river, or you could have like a river that dries up into like a
it could become
crevice.
it could become like a frozen, or not frozen, but like a cooled obsidian river by him or something.
I think we aesthetically actually had one on one of the Conquest maps that was like, it was like a space rift, if I remember, like a cosmic. You can kind of look down. I don't remember what season that was, or if that's even live right now, but.
I mean, you could play with the verticality of the map. Yeah, so verticality is, from the start, we felt like that's the one thing that you can't change for it to feel like Smite.
Yeah, I mean, you could create another plane of existence and throw Fire Giant in a genie's lamp kind of deal.
Yeah, kind of, or like, what was that? We did that one, the
Odin's
Medusa,
Onslaught?
Odin's Onslaught. Yep. Yeah, where you went up to the top of the tree or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, theoretically, even then, I don't think you could even do it at like an offset z-axis. It would literally have to just be like laterally somewhere else. That's tech stuff.
Yeah.
Can we get a lasso item? I would like to play tug of war with Daji. What does that even mean? You just want to I mean, you've got Sylvanas coming up.
Yeah.
Play tug of war with Sylvanas and Daji.
Curate the item shop by role. For example, if I run support, tier 3 defensive items show in the list before tier 3 offensive items. The support main on console, it's annoying having to scroll to the bottom every time. I understand the pitch. I think the counter pitch, and the reason why it is what it is that you kind of build up muscle memory expecting things to be in the same place every time.
Yeah.
And if they're in different places, depending on what god you're playing, that can be kind of confusing. We do have like the god builder section. So I mean, you can have
pin a community build kind of thing and utilize that a little bit.
Yeah, I find that to be pretty useful. But yeah, to completely rework the store order per god, I think would probably be more confusing than helpful for most players.
Ward Fanatic, huh? Can you allow us to see every player ping and input like BF6? I don't actually know what that means.
Like every player ping, I'm assuming means like show everybody's ping in the match. Like if you push tab, see everybody's
that kind
ping.
of a ping.
Yeah.
I mean,
so we don't show ping at all in Smite 2 right now.
Yeah,
we don't even show your own ping. Part of it is like
I actually prefer that for placebo reasons, but
yeah, part of it is also like we have always reported ping differently than most games in Hi-Rez games, and there's a little bit of like, if we change to the way that other games report it, people will be like, bullshit, this is 26 ping. This feels like 100 ping did in Smite 1 or whatever, right? Or if we report it the way that we did in other Hi-Rez games, then people will be like, I don't understand why I always get such higher ping in Smite 2 compared to every other game. So there is that to like just kind of work through, where it's like it would literally mean changing the way we report pings from Smite 1 to Smite 2 to match industry standards, which is going to lead to some people being, upset one way or the other. But I think also like, I don't know. I feel like sharing everybody else's ping just like lets you target people that are bad ping. Like I mean, I agree on that sense. Yeah.
If anything, it's like, sure, even if we did want to do it, it's probably pretty far down the list of things that we want to do for UI.
Are we going to have new kill effects soon? I don't think there are new kill effects anytime soon. There might be some that I'm just not aware of. I do believe there's new teleporter effects in the next update.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Those have been fun. I've been rocking the little boo one, the little ghost.
I love the boo one. I think that might be our best one yet.
Yeah.
I do like the fighter jet though. It makes me feel like Top Gun. I don't know.
I was at the Halloween place. I was in Tina's hubby was there, and he was dressed up as Maverick.
Ah.
He was actually wearing the Rogue Company bomber jacket though, because it works out so perfectly.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
Scylla 3 isn't being shown on the map anymore. Was that intentional? That's probably a bug.
I saw that bug reported somewhere.
Okay. I'm not going to write it down then. Anti-heal.
Mm-hmm.
What's your design opinion? Because the question is, with the addition of more healers, is there a plan to give more gods built-in anti-heal to compensate? Playing into healing and lifestyle is a pain with the limited god pool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a question that gets brought up a lot. It was in the consecration videos that we saw as well. One of the things that we talked about for a bit is, we buffed up Brawler's Beatstick as what we're calling I'm calling a counter healing item.
Yeah.
And I think we definitely want to expand on that system. It's something that I think we're going to take not more seriously, but it's like risen higher to the top of the list. There's so many things that we need to continuously work on, but I think counter healing is definitely something that we want to make sure we get in sooner rather than later. So yeah, there'll definitely be some discussion and some implementation of probably, whether it's existing items or new items that have some level of counter healing capabilities brought in. And what that means is not necessarily just healing negation, but just
reacting to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it feels like maybe this is my erroneous take, but it feels to me like the item healing is maybe the more egregious than the god healing.
Yeah, that's what we've been hearing a lot more too. If anything, we could probably bring back a little bit of god healing in certain places, but reduce item healing.
Feels like Afro lost her healer identity. She's getting healing buffs in this next update, so let us know how she feels. Always, not going to be the level of healer that she has been at some points.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Because there's no anti-heal, but should be a more consistent, decently.
Is Aladdin's Arena always there? I think it is. I don't know if it requires Aladdin to be in the match or not. Pawn would definitely know, but I'm pretty sure technically, even when Aladdin's there or not, it's just super far away over there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I hate this question, but it's just so true. Why do some stat increase and decrease show as green or red in the stat bars, but some still show as white? No, that's just because we're inconsistent and it requires us to I think add an extra tag to each one of those buffs, and sometimes we forget, and then it stacks up, and now it's probably 50-50.
Well, we announced the first god of next year before or after the Christmas break. Almost certainly before, because we might PTS before, but maybe not. Might not be ready yet. So it could be after. It's hard to say exactly because it is a longer update, so I'm not exactly sure where we'll be in the process.
Then we'll probably have to figure out some sort of pre-holiday Titan talk that talks about a couple of things.
Yeah, probably.
What's the next big thing you're working on? I'll tell you it next time on Titan Talk.
Yeah.
And then the one after that, and the one after that. Spoilers, obviously, we can't just go into it.
Yeah. Without spoilers, are there big things coming in 2026? And how big are we talking? I mean, we're always working on big things, right?
Yep.
I don't necessarily have, everything, how you judge a thing is, kind of up to you, but we're always working on bigger features. We're always working on fun things. I think that there's a lot of stuff that's currently on the calendar for 2026 that I'm excited about, but that changes a lot because our development process focuses more on what are we shipping in the short term? What's the next thing we're working on versus what's the ultra long-term thing that we're working on, right? There are some things that we work on in the background that are months out for sure, but there's things that are on the written calendar for, the next year that we haven't started yet, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not to that yet. So we generally like to leave ourselves able to pivot to address the community's concerns. And if there's something that pops up that we think needs fixing, then it becomes a priority and we try and fix it as soon as we can. But yeah, I think there's a lot of cool stuff coming next year.
All right, I know this takes UI works, but I kind of agree. Hatmaster had a point. It's probably low priority, but if possible, could we change even the color of the pause and surrender menus? Because sometimes I've made this mistake. It's I just see the UI first before my brain parses the words, and it's that's probably a surrender vote. So I'm gonna F7 or whatever, or would not even react to it.
That's
literally just
a
color difference would probably be helpful enough to start.
Has there been consideration in 2026 to slow the god schedule to get more design-intensive gods into the game that are fan favorites that take longer to program in? I would say currently our plan is to keep going with the god schedule as long as we can.
Although we did talk about a tiny little break.
Yeah, we do have a break over the holidays.
I want to just keep lingering that in there so people remember that it happens and when it actually happens.
So I do think that some of the gods that are harder, we have built some more building blocks now towards.
We always try and work on that.
So they will be easier when we get to them. There's still a couple of gods that are probably on the realm of we aren't going to be able to get them done when we're in an every 2-week cycle just because of the way that they are created. But I think that, you'll probably start to see some more difficult gods next year as part of that cycle. And if we get to the point where the schedule needs to change, then we'll tell you about it and it'll change, right? But I think that we still feel like it's important that we have a very consistent, regular god release cadence for where we are in the game. I did say there were some that still would be very difficult in a 2-week cadence. And I'm not telling you guys what gods are coming next year, okay? Jeez, you always want more.
Her deadly desire skin. Look, we can make the Dodgy fan happy if we can get specific Dodgy skins. You know what? After working on it, she has some really good skins. She's got a lot of really good skins.
She does.
I was very surprised. So I don't even know which one that is, but I went in and I was okay, there's so many really cool ones. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, she was. She always sold well, so she got a lot of good skins. That's kind of the general if you look at a god in Smite 1 and you count how many skins they have, they probably got a lot of skins because they sold well. Based on popularity is a big reason.
Yeah, totally. Then we turned Jormungandr into a goose.
This is not confirming or denying anything about the god, but I just read this pitch. It says make Chiron young for Smite 2. I feel like
he's he's got white hair, sure, but
I like his voice. It's the kind of old man teacher thing. I like what he does.
Sean Connery going on.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Got the fabulous unicorn one as well. We need Kilgoon to go on another break so we get more leaks.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a break thing or a sick thing.
Yeah, maybe a bit of both.
Fever dream kind of thing.
Is the next big UI project the Gods tab? It's very buggy and freezes. The Gods tab is something that we need to get back to for sure. I don't think it's the next thing on the UI team's plate. The Gods tab also is more of a problem on some platforms than others.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's depending on where you play, it may not be an issue for you at all, but for some people it is. There's definitely other stuff that we need to, that we're working on. We're just always continuing to try and improve the core game.
Yep. What's been the hardest character to make +1s for? Honestly, I feel like every character that we work on is always such a tough time because it's so hard finding that line of interesting and new, but doesn't just blow things out, but creating enough gameplay difference without disappointing the community. It's been very, very tough coming up with fun +1s and fun aspects, to be honest. Especially as we continue to grow the amount that we have, it makes all the next ones feel like we have this weight of expectation behind it.
Yep. Thoughts on a zoom or rotate feature of God's 3D models when in the God menu? You can rotate, use click and drag. We don't have a zoom, but we do have a rotate.
So for the question on Smite 1 parody for Donza and Neath, we try and start things off with Smite 1 parody in terms of the character and their kit. But whether it's +1s or shifts, we don't want to be beholden by everything that Smite 1 does. Like, obviously, like, the balance of the game is already different. The +1s might include shift. Like, Scylla, when she released, just played a little bit more on that gameplay of, weaker early game and stronger late game, to much people's chagrin, honestly, too, because changes change, and that can be scary. We don't want to always do the exact same things that Smite 1 does. Some of the +1s, even if they are technically -1s, are just the fact that they're changing, like they're new learning experiences. And, having worked on Danza, that was absolutely one of the cases, is that was always there as kind of a crutch, and it wasn't, sure, it feels good. It's just a buff, right? It's an extra bullet point than Danza has. But that really didn't play on his whole gimmick of like trickery. And, he has a new +1 in his 3, getting that extra clone chance inside there that's meant to do a similar thing, but in a more thematic and more meaningful way.
Can we please have the friends list tell us if friends are in game and the match timer? That is something that we've heard that feedback for. It's something that we would like to get added, but just hasn't risen to the top of the list yet.
Mbake Kujira just turns into, gets rid of his just be a whale. Yeah, I mean, we can just turn him into like a UI asset, or just like floating around in the sky.
We all want int CERN buffs. Do people want that?
You do.
I don't know.
Oh no, you want jungle CERN.
Jungle CERN.
You had like
jungle CERN is my thing. Yeah, I play a lot of jungle CERN. With the longer break in December, is the 2026, the first patch of 2026, going to be a bigger patch? No, it's not. There is a longer break specifically because it's the holidays, and people aren't going to work the week of Christmas, and New Year's is the week after. So most people probably work half a week that week, right? So it's like it's kind of just a normal patch cycle for us. It's just over a period of time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel more okay saying this than maybe Kilgoon does, but and just saying, like, we want this Christmas holiday. All the devs here, things have been very intense, and we're working a lot. The whole reason why Kilgoon does the whole "it's only been 2 weeks" thing is because of it's an insane amount and a massive testament and dedication to the entire team that's here, that we can still continuously go at this pace every 2 weeks. We want to continue to manage the expectations of the holiday time, of January time, because we don't want to slow down, but it's hard for us to just like compile things together and create large, almost like even marketing opportunities, whatever it may be, because that would require holding things back right now. We might get there at one point. This is not that time, but we want to get you as much as we can, as often as we can, and that's the goal for now.
Yeah, definitely. Well stated.
It's okay to leak Smite cart. I wish I could. You're getting as much as you can as fast as I can give it to you.
Oh, the AI bots are still building Ruinous Ankh.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
We should probably fix that.
That's funny. It's been 2 Tuesdays.
Yeah. Are we going to get approval for game chat on console over Christmas break? No, because they are also on Christmas break, so they will not be certifying anything over that time period, unfortunately. They have a complete blackout where we can't do anything to the game during that time period. That's another one of the reasons why we were taking this longer break.
Would you consider slowing down on aspects to make them really change the God gameplay? We're still trying to find that kind of cadence to make sure that we come up with aspects that are interesting. Some of the ones with the gods that come out are a little bit crazier than others. Some of the ones that I think we've slowed down on making the previous gods that aren't the new gods, the ones that don't have any aspects of the game, we've slowed down on that to make sure that when we do add them, they're a little bit more on the interesting side. That being said, not everything is going to be Fat Loki style kind of aspect. We kind of cooked on that one a little bit extra because of the fun idea of it all, and we had the specific goal. Sometimes it's just really hard to come up with a specific goal for these aspects too. That one kind of wrote itself. So we have slowed down. We have actually done that already, and we're not going to stop making the port of the gods that don't have any aspects. But that being said, we definitely don't want to force them in as much as we felt like we needed to previously.
Are there any gods on your radar that really need some help? Whether it's like they have a play rate that's just much lower than we would expect, or we need to go back and give them some more quality of life fixes.
I mean, The instant one that came to my list was one that, Pond has just talked about a few times, and one that has still the disparity between the community is, I think there's a lot of people who still think Aladdin is OP, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are just like, okay, well, he's still permaban, he's still there at the highest play levels, but he just has an incredibly high skill floor and a high skill ceiling. So what can we do about that? I'm not saying we're going to necessarily do anything. We don't want to change for the sake of change, but it's always a pity when you see a character come out who is so awesome. I think Aladdin is just fantastic, but it's just also really hard to play. And it's just, okay, well, we want to make sure that people have that ability to do so. So that's one that comes into mind. And just the idea of playing around with strength and intelligence in the hybrid capabilities in a way that makes a little bit more sense.
Sylvanas is here. Where is Mannequin's scepter?
No. I looked at Pond and he looked at me and we both agreed we're not going to do it. Mannequins was always a design dilemma in Smite 1. It was always OP or incredibly weak, because once it was built, then the Ballonas are building it, then the Hunters are building it. I think it was designed almost as a warrior item, but it didn't end up being, I can't even remember, because everyone started using it. It was always just really too good. And as much as the memes are there for Sylvanas, that doesn't mean it's a healthy item. That being said, that doesn't mean we don't want maybe an on-hit in-hand attack focused starter item that's plausible. Right now, Death's Toll gives you the sustain, you've got Tearfang, you have some opportunities. Is there a little bit more play space to be had there? Yes. But we weren't going to focus on just forcing in mannequins just for Sylvanas, because that's just the meme, right? Mm-hmm. I would definitely advise, if you want to play Sylvanas and go that kind of a build, you play around with the Tearfang, you play around even with Odibo, heck, let him get more attack speed, and he feels a lot of fun that way still. You absolutely can still get that kind of a gameplay without mannequins.
Mm-hmm. When will the Twitch drops for the new Sylvanas skin start? I believe they will start on the Saturday after the patch.
Gotcha.
Basically, our drops run Saturday to Saturday. So when the current set of drops stop, I believe it will be added to. I believe it will be added to the drops program at that point. Mm-hmm. So starting this Saturday, watch a lot of Smite.
I want to ask a question, skin. But I don't know what we've said. But I saw some stuff that's really cool in chat in Slack today about skins. That's all.
I'm not sure what it was. So.
I'll clarify with you and then spoil it properly next time.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Do you guys agree do you guys agree with my do you guys think that starter upgrade is feel underwhelming? We definitely, the starter item system was effectively a small port from Smite 1, especially with a lot of the current versions that are items that are in there. We do know we want to play around with that system a little bit more. I have some crazy takes on what I would love to see that system be, but I don't think we're going to necessarily go there. But yeah, that being said, we do need to revisit what we want to do with that system, whether it's small buffs and changes or bigger plans.
I feel like Vampiric Shroud is a really bad starter, but a really good upgraded starter.
That's possible. Yeah. I was watching Chris Dixon play Hades against the Sun Wukong, and I was very surprised with how well he did with Vampiric Shroud. That being said, I agree, because I never go in. Yeah. It's I fall into the same fallacy that I'm sure chat does as well. It's unless the thing is meta and good, if I'm trying hard in a game, I'm gonna go the three things that I know are good.
Our Wandering Market collection is done for forever. Probably not for forever, but not in the not in the short term. We're going to continue to release Travelers. We just put out the Wandering Market Path that gives you a bunch of free stuff. The Wandering Market Path is going to update pretty soon, so you'll get more free stuff through it. And we added the whole shop that you can spend coins on to get free stuff. So there's a lot of ways to use your coins to get free stuff. And yeah.
Kellen, what's this about me and Cupid? What's happening here?
I think they're trying to say that Cupid is better than Merlin or something.
Yeah, okay, as if. Whoa.
Oh, it's 1:59. The hour has flown by.
Yeah,
it is time for
one more question.
Thanks for watching as always, chat. It's been nice to just have a relatively chill answering question day, because we've not gotten to do this in a while. Patch tomorrow morning, probably around 7 in the morning Eastern time. You'll be able to play Sylvanas and everything else we talked about. Let us know how it feels. We're looking forward to it. Can we get clarity on the ending date for getting the free pumpkins? I believe it is November 18th, so 2 weeks from tomorrow. So you have 2 weeks. Basically, next patch cycle is the end of getting the free pumpkins. And then we'll update the path and stuff to be for our next thing.
I've seen this a few times. I saw 2 questions based on it right now for talking about Cerberus being slightly better of an anti-healer and his identity as an anti-healer. That one's always been really interesting to me because yes, it's his passive, but I don't think I ever considered like if I ever picked up Cerberus and I wouldn't just be thinking about that and the anti-healing capabilities. That being said, does his passive need a potential buff? Sure. But I remember back in Smite 1 still, I remember back in the day, funnily enough, his passive was always OP, actually.
Yeah,
like,
it was really good.
may never, it's one of the things like Chiron passive, actually, where it never, it doesn't have to feel strong to be strong. Chiron passive was one where like even when it was at its low numbers where people were like this is really weak, we would look and be like actually it's providing so much free stuff all the time permanently that it's actually pretty crazy. That being said, Cerberus needs a little bit of love there. I think that's totally fine.
Can I tell you what has made Cerberus not good in Smite 2?
Sure.
As somebody who's played a lot of Cerberus in Smite 1. Stone of Binding not proccing on soft CC because Stone of Binding with your breath was just like that was insanely good.
Yeah, because the proc trade already is a proc trade.
It was so good. Like that was what made him, at least from my experience, who played him a lot solo.
Yeah,
that was the thing that like really made him good. And then you could just burst anybody. So that would be my hot take.
But do we need a little bit more love on the passive or Cerberus as a whole?
Yeah.
I think that's totally fair. We can have a look at him and see what could be done there. But
did I pick one? I did a really quick one.
Yeah, you answered a quick one. And then something about Kabrak and passive aura. It's technically intent just based on the fact that it's there. I guess it's not some. I don't know if it's something we thought about, to be honest. But sometimes we actually don't mind things like that. It's a little bit of a tell. It's almost like a nerf for the stealth, which we're okay with every once in a while. But I can chat with the team and see if we want to remove it or
not. And just because this question's been asked a lot of times today, will diamond skins ever come back in Smite 2? I think when we designed the mastery skins for Smite 2, we just thought that the radiant skin was just kind of a cooler version of a similar sort of thing. The diamond skins, they ended up looking kind of weird on a lot of characters, I think, in Smite 1, in my personal opinion. And they were popular mostly because they were the top rank one, So we aren't currently planning on bringing the diamond ones back. We think we kind of have fulfilled a similar niche with the radiant skins. And I think we're fairly happy with that part of the system right now. So, there's always a chance that something happens, but not currently anything that we're planning on.
Yeah. And just to continue, because I saw the point on like not thinking anti-heal as being core of his identity for Cerberus is an insane take. It's not that it's not core to him being, it's just like everything needs to have a specific amount of like power amount like to the god itself. Yes, anti-heal is important to Cerberus. We would never, want to remove it, but it's not like, to me, when we say core identity, it's not like, 50% of what the character brings to the game. It can never have that level of a strength. Like a passive can never be so overpowered to be quote unquote the core identity. Yes, it being there is important, but it can never be so important to be like the only value that a character brings. Like that level of intensity to a passive would be overwhelming almost.
And in parting, Sat says that we need to nerf Bologna so that he will be released by people who are holding him for ransom. So we'll see what we can do on that one. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for a great show. It's been good chatting as always. We'll be back on Wednesday, but we'll see you on the Battleground tomorrow with the update. Hopefully you enjoy my boy Sylvanas. And
Grover.
We'll just keep going. Keep putting out stuff.
Keep on going.
Keep doing it. All right. Well, we'll find the outro button.
Bye, guys.
Bye. If I can find the button, there it is. Okay, bye.